Meanwhile, I'm still down on the river. I'm still down on the river because I love being on the river. And my work, over time, I recognize that what draws me now to the Delaware is the imagery where man is interfacing with the river. We live, it became so obvious as these stormwater events started to happen over the last 6 years, as it's been since the big flood, one after another, the 100-year storm, followed by another 100-year storm, that this was a preview of coming attractions. And those of us who are paying attention recognize that what we're experiencing here in this section of Pennsylvania is a microcosm of what's happening all over the world. When you're making art, part of what you're choosing is, are you looking at the big picture or are you looking at the small picture? As a young man, I tried to look at the big picture. I tried to put everything into my work. Then I decided to be a local artist everywhere and paint every place. As I got older again and my body of work started to collect, I started to narrow my focus. I started to narrow my focus in not having a specific place that I was painting, but rather myself being immersed in the water. And that's the work I was doing on the 11th of September. It was about being immersed in experience, opening yourself up to experience and reflecting it in your work. That's why I was so moved by your photograph of where we stand. I was making images about what it was like to be me, what it looks like to be me, looking down at my feet, looking at myself in my water, again, narrowing my focus about what it was I was painting to just what I'm looking at, just where I am, figuring whatever it is I'm seeing in the Delaware, I can see it in my bathtub. You know, if I'm paying close enough attention, I don't need to be out there. I can find it all in here. So my work became focused about my studio, about me in my studio, in my bathtub, when history came and knocked me on the 11th of September and drew me back out into this recognition of the universality of where we live. You know, that you can't escape history. History's going to come to you. And it changed my outlook. We're now 10 years after 2001. I've been very fortunate in that the body of work that I did called Downtown Rising focused on the rebuilding of 7 World Trade Center, which I see from my window. And I sent the first of the rebuilt towers, and I sent this body of work to Silverstein Properties, the developer of the World Trade Center, hoping to sell them a picture, which I still haven't done. But they did invite me to a residency at 7 World Trade Center, where I've been working for the last 2 years, overlooking on the 48th floor, way up in the sky where this thing happened, overlooking the rebuilding of the World Trade Center. And the experience for me of going there every morning and watching these 3,000 men come to work to make concrete the best thinking of the engineers and architects and planners of our generation who've been considering this World Trade Center site has given me great personal strength and made me recognize the resilience of our city, of our country, and our people. And I recognize that the work that I've been doing in the Delaware, where what I've been painting is the rebuilding of the infrastructure in light of the collapse that we suffered in these floods, that it was the same thing. That what I'm painting here, which at the time seemed to me to be, you remember, Mary, how infuriated we were that these bridges weren't being rebuilt, that everything was laying in collapse. Well, when the work started, and you know, the bridges started to be rebuilt again, well, that was a pretty good feeling. And I'm choosing to focus on the positive. If we focus on the negative, the cataclysm that we know is coming, it's happening all the time, we know it's there, will be frozen. So I look in my work to try and focus on the resilience of our people, and it's the resilience of nature that we're echoing. It's the same thing that as this, you know, the stream, the Gallows Run watershed, is in such worse condition than when we started our Gallows Run Watershed Association. There's nothing we could do about it. These storm cycles have ravaged the stream. The erosion is I don't think we'll ever see in my lifetime what I saw 10 years ago when we did our watershed assessment and walked the stream. Those look like halcyon days. But what do? I think that we're all called to fight the big battle in our own backyard where we can have some impact. So my love affair continues with the Gallows Run. 2 projects that we've been involved with in our Watershed Association. Bob was with us this past 2 weeks ago where we ran a Lynn Island cleanup where we bring our volunteers in canoes across the Delaware at the mouth of the Gallows Run to Lynn Island to clean the river, to have some type of experience of a wilderness experience in downtown Kippersville. Well, it feels that way when you land your canoe on Lynn Island, and nobody's been there for a year, and the kids who come with us get to experience it as if they're discovering it for the first time. Another project that we've been doing is we have an Art for Conservation project in the Gallows Run, where we put together a group of local painters and artists and sculptors who visited the properties of conserved landowners, who conserved their properties, who welcomed the artists to paint. We create an exhibit around this, sell the work and benefits for the conservation, and then the show moves to the high school, where today a group of artists came in to talk with 7th, 8th, and 9th, and then the high school kids later in the afternoon. And what I talk to the kids about is not only about the beauty of using a pencil, the importance of drawing, the importance of keeping a notebook and observing your life, but also the importance of being a good citizen and the responsibility that you have if you live here to give back. That's what I was raised as when I was brought up in school. I got a feeling that most of you people of my generation were raised the same way when you took your government or civics class. And I wonder when I go to the meetings in our townships and I see no young people, if they're being brought up the same way. So I'm encouraging the school district to do everything they can to focus on the citizenship quotient of this, because this is the future, this is what's going to happen, and we as locals can make an impact on it different. So, is that a river story?
Yes.
That was great.
Thank you.